Hey everybody, welcome to Pack 1 Pick 1 number 226 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves another pack of Theros Beyond Death. We're going to open this up, see what's in it, and see what we would take Pack 1 Pick 1 if this was a draft. Now each week over at patreon.com/manaleek, I pick somebody at random from the $5 level or above, and they get their choice of any of the cards out of this pack, all the cards, some of the cards, none of the cards, totally up to them. And this week that's going to be Black Math Abbey. So we're going to open this pack, see what's in it, see what we would take Pack 1 Pick 1. If we can get the cards out, there we go. Up first is Nyxborn Brute. Nyxborn Brute is 3 red for an enchantment creature Cyclops. It's a vanilla 7/3. It's not terribly exciting. I don't really want to play this in basically any deck. If you desperately need a curve top or you missed creatures, okay, but it's not in the Pack 1 Pick 1 discussion. Up next is Sentinel's Eyes. Sentinel's Eyes is a single white mana for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has Vigilant, Escape for a single white mana and 2 cards. Totally fine aura. The fact that you can return this over and over and trigger your heroes is huge. It's just a very good aura. That said, it's nowhere near Pack 1 Pick 1. Up next is Vexing Gull. Vexing Gull is 2 and a blue for a creature bird. It's 2/2 flash flyer. Totally okay card. Nowhere near Pack 1 Pick 1, but I think basically every blue deck is happy with one of these, maybe multiples, and of course super at home in the blue-red deck. Up next is Stampede Rider. Stampede Rider is 2 and a red for a creature satyr. It's a 2/3 with trample. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Stampede Rider gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's an okay-ish red creature. I don't think every red deck wants one of these. You want to be triggering this, so you obviously ideally would like to be red-green, and if you are, it's a fine creature. The trample can be kind of the deal maker here. But yeah, it's an okay card, nowhere near Pack 1 Pick 1, and I don't even think it goes in every red deck. Up next is Scavenging Harpy. Scavenging Harpy is 2 and a black for a creature Harpy. It's a 2/1 flyer. When it ETBs, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Nice little card. It's going to mess up your opponent's face by attacking for 2, but it's also going to mess up their escape plans. So totally fine card. I think every black deck's happy with it. But again, nowhere near a first pick. But I'm a pretty big fan of Scavenging Harpy. I find 2/1 for 3 flyers in black to just be a decent rate. Up next is Moss Viper. Moss Viper is a single green mana for a creature snake. It's a 1/1 with Death Touch. It's an okay card. It'll trade up, hopefully, with a whole bunch of ground creatures, but it's not a first pick. It's just a fine card. Up next is Omen of the Forge. I guess technically our first pick so far, but not exciting. 1 and a red for an enchantment with flash. When it ETBs, deal 2 damage to anything. Pay 2 and a red, sack it, scry 2. Red is not a color that you super want to go into. It's definitely the worst of the 5 colors, I would say, but Omen of the Forge is going to be something that can help you out here. It is super at home in the blue-red flash deck, but it's obviously a card that every red deck's going to play in multiples. Just being able to ping off X2s as well as deal 2 to your opponent's face if you want to is above rate. So fine card, technically our first pick right now, but let's hope the pack gets better. Up next is Mogus's Favor. Mogus's Favor is a single black mana for an enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/-1. Escape for 2 and a black and exile 2 other cards. It's an okay card. I'll play one of these at least in every black deck. The second one makes me question a little bit. The -1 doesn't kill as many things as you would hope, but it kills more things than you might expect. And of course, the ability to pump your own creatures is pretty nice. Throw this on your Vexing Gull. Now your Vexing Gull is a pretty scary threat. Totally fine card. I think I would hate ever first picking it. I would never first pick it over an Omen of the Forge. Despite black being the best and red being the worst, I'm still not making that choice. Up next is Nylea's Huntmaster. Nylea's Huntmaster is 3 and a green for a creature Centaur Shaman. It's a 4/3. When it ETBs, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. Okay card if you're heavy green, or even if you're just green and looking for a bit of a filler creature, but it's not too much higher than filler. There's just a lot of better green cards that you can be playing. Play your Voracious Typhons. Play your better uncommon green creatures. Play your Nessian Beetles, etc. Play this only if you really desperately have to, and it's not a first pick. Up next is Pious Wayfarer. Pious Wayfarer is a single white mana for a 1/2 creature human scout. I think I just now realized it's a scout. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This card is just solid. It does a lot of things that white wants to do. If you can get multiples of these and things like Omen of the Sun, it can go really off. I haven't yet gone super off with it, but I think I have had 4 or 5 in one deck, although that was weeks ago at this point. Yeah, it's a solid card. I would never first pick it. I think some people are talking about it potentially being one of the first pick white cards, but I'm not up there. I'm not quite that crazy just yet, so not for me. So it looks like no foil in this pack, unfortunately. On to the uncommons. We've got Heroes of the Revel. Heroes of the Revel is 4 and a red for a creature satyr soldier. It's a 4/4, but when it does ETB, it makes a 1/1 red satyr creature with this creature can't block. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Heroes of the Revel, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. This is the worst of the heroes. The 2 common ones are honestly, I think, just better than the 2 uncommon ones. The 2 mono-colored uncommon ones. Obviously, Hero of the Nyxborn is great. But yeah, Heroes of the Revel, it's expensive for that deck. That deck doesn't really want many 5-drops unless they're ending the game, and this one just is not. So I'm never ever going to first pick a Heroes of the Revel. And in fact, I cut it quite a bit from packs from decks where I am playing the hero deck. Up next is Acolyte of Affliction, a potential first pick here, even though it is 2 colors. 2 black-green for a creature human cleric. It's a 2/3. When it ETBs, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Great card. 2/3 for 4 is obviously a little bit overcosted, but milling 2 and then returning any permanent you want from your graveyard is amazing. This card is great, and I think I'd actually first pick it over the Omen of the Forge at the moment. Our final uncommon is Cling to Dust. Cling to Dust is a single black mana for an instant. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you get to draw a card, pay 3 black, exile 5 other cards to escape it. Cling to Dust is just totally main deckable. It's not a card that I'm going out of my way to main deck, but if I have it and I have a spot, it's going in the main deck. There's enough escape cards that if you don't answer them, you just cannot win the game, and this helps you get around that. Potentially helps get you around it twice, maybe even 3 times, who knows. It can also draw a card most of the time if you're not getting rid of a creature, and if you are getting rid of a creature, it's probably a very scary escape card, and so the 3 life is just gravy. Totally okay card. Very far from a first pick. Our rare, let me just rip up all these other cards, I guess. Our rare is Kiora Best the Sea God. Kiora Best the Sea God is 5 blue for an enchantment saga at Mythic. It says you win the game. Act 1, you make an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token with hexproof. Act 2, you tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during that controller's next untap step. Act 3, steal something and untap it, because why not? This card is obviously a blight of the format. Thankfully, it's mythic, unlike Dream Trawler. I have no understanding of why they made that a rare. But yeah, this card is probably just the best mythic in the set. One of the best cards in the set. Extraordinarily unbeatable. A lot of people will say, well, enchantment hate kills it. An 8/8 hexproof is still not going to be something that you laugh at after enchantment hating this, but I guess it's a step. But yeah, this is just an easy first pick here. There's not even a question here. Kiora Best the Sea God, one of the best cards in the set. If it wasn't there, I think these are the 2 cards we're considering, Omen of the Forge and Acolyte, and I think I'm taking the Acolyte. It's 2 colors, but it's just so good, and it's not red, which is one of the worst colors. So yeah, pretty easy pack there, Kiora Best the Sea God. I would take Acolyte. Let me know what you would take if Kiora Best the Sea God wasn't there and didn't exist, and boy, that world sounds amazing where that card doesn't exist. Anyways, let me know what you would take and how Theros is going for you in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. You can find me at patreon.com/SamanthaLeek, like Black Math Abby did. And if you donate at the $5 level or above, you get your chance to get all the cards, none of the cards, some of the cards, whatever you happen to want, out of the Pack 1 Pick 1s each week. You also work your way towards getting one of these Mana Leak playmats, etc. You get to join the Patreon as well, which is a pretty good bonus if you ask me. But yeah, let me know anything you want to let me know. If you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time.